It's hard to believe that Thanksgiving is less than 2 weeks away, but that also means colder temperatures are on the way, and this is a great time to talk about hypothermia in seniors. So stay tuned. I'm going to tell you a little bit about hypothermia, but the big thing is you're going to want to hear all of the tips and things that you can do if you find your senior parent or another elderly person, or anyone actually, suffering from hypothermia, so that you can keep them stabilized until they can get emergency medical help. So stay tuned. Hi, this is Robin with SeniorSafetyAdvice.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is free, and you can get tips and tricks on aging in place safely. This is for seniors and also for caregivers, either here on our YouTube channel or on our website at SeniorSafetyAdvice.com. So hypothermia, it's kind of interesting. Normal body temperature is about 98.6. It only takes 3 to 4 degrees of temperature loss in your body for you to become hypothermic. So 95 is about the area that they look at to call hypothermic. Now in seniors, hypothermia can happen for a lot of reasons. First of all, you don't have as much of a fat layer underneath your skin, so you don't hold your body temperature as well. Usually seniors will have a lower metabolism, and so that can contribute. Also, seniors, their blood vessels don't constrict as well as when you're younger, which means that they don't stay as warm either. Things that can contribute: some medications, thyroid problems, diabetes because your circulation isn't as good, and then some things like Parkinson's or dementia. Parkinson's because it can be harder to put more clothing on to stay warm. Dementia, sometimes it's just that, people are not aware that they are actually cold. There's actually a thing called paradoxical hypothermia, and that's where somebody gets very confused and they start taking off clothing. They know that they're uncomfortable and there's something wrong, but it's confusion, and so they undress instead of putting more things on. So sometimes hypothermia can result because a senior is on a fixed budget and they don't want to spend the money that's required in order to kick that heater up. So if that's the case with a senior parent or a senior loved one, I'm going to put a link down in the description below that helps for organizations that can help people who need to have assistance with their utility bills in the winter. So first off, what are the signs of hypothermia? Well, confusion is one. Slow or slurred speech is another. Moving slowly can also be a sign of hypothermia, as can being drowsy or being clumsy. Maybe your fingers are too cold to hold something and you keep dropping things. All of those can be signs. Wind chill factors, that can also lead to hypothermia. And you may think that, my father used to shovel the snow even when he was in his 80s and 90s because he felt like he could do it and he wanted to prove he could do it. But when you shovel snow, you get sweaty. And if you have even a 10-mile-an-hour breeze and you're in 20-degree weather shoveling snow, that being wet, making your body sweating like that, can actually lead you to lowered body temperature quicker. So now what do you do if you happen to go to your parents or you find somebody, a senior who's fallen in the parking lot or passed out in a parking lot somewhere? What do you do? Well, first of all, somebody who's hypothermic needs to have medical attention as soon as possible. So if you were to find somebody in the parking lot, you would want to call 911 as soon as possible. But like in the case of my father, if I went over to visit him and let myself in and I thought he was hypothermic, I would want to take him to the ER. Now, of course, that's assuming that he would be conscious and able to talk. In that case, if you were to find a senior or your parent who was conscious and talking with you, you would want to give them a warm beverage. So you're talking about warm water, not anything that contains alcohol and nothing that contains caffeine, because those can change the internal part of the body, make your heart beat irregular, things like that. So just stick with warm water, but not hot. You also would want to wrap blankets around them, have them put on more clothing like a flannel shirt, make sure they're wearing socks. My father was good about going to bed at night, and even in the middle of the winter, he never wore socks. And, you know, if he got up in the middle of the night, I'm sure his poor feet were freezing. So something you do not want to do, which is kind of counterintuitive, is you don't want to heat a hypothermic person with a heating pad or an electric blanket, something like that. That heat can actually trigger a heart attack according to the Mayo Clinic, according to the Mayo Clinic. Additionally, surprisingly, you don't want to rub them to try and get circulation started for that same reason. A dramatic movement, I don't know if you'd consider that dramatic, but shaking, things like that, that can actually induce a heart attack according to the Mayo Clinic. Okay, let's say you find your neighbor next door and they're passed out on the lawn and they're hypothermic. Well, it wouldn't be lawn, snow, and they're hypothermic. What you would want to do is try and get a blanket or a coat, something like that, and push it gently underneath them so that they're insulated from the ground. You also, of course, you would call 911, but while you were waiting for emergency responders to arrive, you would want to try and cover them with a blanket or extra clothing if you had any, coats, things like that. If you had to, you could also lay down next to them and keep them warm with your body heat. Another thing to do is if it is at all breezy, you would want to make sure that the person would be shielded from the breeze. So again, you've either got to hunch over them, or if you can hold a blanket up or something, that would help to insulate them from the breeze. So what you can do to help warm them as well, like I said, no electric blanket or heating pad, but you can take a warm water bottle in a pinch, warm, not hot. You would only want to apply it to the neck, to the chest, or to the groin. Same thing with a warm dry compress. Now I'm talking about something like, the little bags of, I think they're rice that you can put into a microwave to warm it up a little bit, and then you use it like if you have arthritis or something like that. You can take something like that. Again, only the neck, the chest, and the groin. Additionally, you could use something like when you go skiing, you have those little plastic packets that you kind of snap open, and then it starts heating. They're hand warmers that can be put into gloves, or feet warmers that can go into boots. You could use something like that as well. I would tell you those things can get pretty hot, so it's my opinion that you should put something underneath it. So if you're going to put it on their neck or on their chest, I would put maybe a towel or something like that underneath it so it doesn't get too hot on their skin. The problem with the heat on a senior's skin is that, especially if it's cold like that, you can actually damage the skin by putting a hot, like a heating pad or something like that on them. We have more information on hypothermia in our article on our website, which I'm going to go ahead and link below as well. So again, please subscribe to the channel. The button is right over there. Also hit that notification bell, and then that way you'll know as soon as we release a video, which we do every Friday, that has tips and tricks to help caregivers and seniors who are aging in place safely. So thanks for watching. Stay warm. See you in the next video. Bye.